We are going to stick now with Minnesota for just a bit longer and shift our focus to the crumbling regime of Governor Tim Walz, who appears to be desperately struggling to stay in office, as calls grow for him to be forcibly removed over his glaring failure to control fraud on his watch. Yeah, sleep at the wheel. Following a recent round of testimony by whistleblowers on Capitol Hill, Minnesota's highest-ranking Republican lawmaker, a guy called Tom Emmer, now says it's crystal clear that Walz still refuses to take any accountability whatsoever for what he's done. Furthermore, he says the governor hasn't held anyone else in his administration accountable either, that he's obviously a coward, and that he sincerely hopes Walz eventually leaves office in handcuffs because look what he's done. Yeah, truly criminal. A lot of folks are leaving us comments right here saying that exact same thing. Additionally, the congressman points to a recent press conference Walz gave as proof that the two-term governor is rapidly unraveling, becoming severely unglued and spiraling totally out of control. And I'm just thinking out loud, but this would kind of make a pretty nifty movie. In case you missed it, at that presser, the grumpy governor told the crowd that despite dropping his re-election bid for a third term, he would only resign, quote, over my dead body, as in his dead body. I get that. In the meantime, the congressman says that Walz's behavior, his bizarre behavior, combined with his decision to withdraw from the race, leads him to believe that Minnesota's staggering fraud scandal is even worse than we currently believe it is, if you can imagine that. And Walz knows it. He also says that state Republicans have been trying to make people aware of what's been going on for years, that nobody in the Twin Cities media would ever report it. Maybe that's because the state's leading paper, we've talked about that before, it's run by a former member of the Walz administration, and that the House Oversight Committee has now officially invited Walz to appear on Capitol Hill and defend himself from charges that, instead of listening, he threatened to retaliate against very whistleblowers who desperately tried to alert him to what was going on and right under his nose. And like I said before, this has all the makings of a top-notch film. And final thought, this is the News Roundup Lowdown. Now, Brother Emmer makes a pretty good point, but here's the deal. Tim Walz is pretty much already in handcuffs. He's an ineffective, lame duck governor who has so horribly mismanaged the state of Minnesota that when his current term is up, yeah, he's finished. He won't be running for re-election. He'll be leaving his job in disgrace, and in time, under more appropriate leadership, Minnesota will hopefully be restored to greatness. With that, Editor Pranov the Magnificent, Cut 24, please. We will all be pushing for the MMGA movement, making Minnesota great again. You know, if this narcissistic failed governor and failed vice presidential candidate had even a drop of common sense, he'd resign from office immediately and spare his state any further trauma. About that trauma, and I suppose we have to be abundantly candid, on his watch, an estimated $9 billion. Yeah, you got to repeat that. $9 billion worth of fraud has been reported. Enormous investigations ongoing, a bunch of folks already in prison, and we think more arrests are forthcoming. It ain't pretty. By the way, if you're wondering why he refuses to immediately step down, just walk away, well, check it out, and here's the deal. We did some research. As governor, word is he scores a six-figure salary. The governor's mansion as well, all paid for. All the bills covered too. Gas, electricity, maintenance, and more. Also free transportation, security guards, top-notch health insurance. And we hear tell of a pretty nifty pension plan as well. Yeah, nice work if you can get it. And like they say, Minnesota governor job, go for the fraud and corruption, stay for the perks and the benefits.